Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Vermont. And I'm a fortune teller. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I am. I can see the future. And in fact, I saw the future in this very match. I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I called it out live in the chat for everybody to hear. And I was right. So let's see if you guys can predict just like me, or if maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm just the greatest future seer of all time. Nostradamus, eat your heart out. All right, I'm out here predicting the future for all of y'all. So what did I say in the chat? Well, it was simple. Our Hindenburg spawns in, goes in front of the island, right to my front, goes full broadside, and immediately dies. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, that's right, I did. Why? Because I'm experienced in the game, and I know exactly what happens when dumb people do dumb things. And this is exactly what should happen when dumb people do dumb things. Now, some of you are probably like, Spartan, that's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh. How could you call out the fact that this guy's gonna go? You didn't know that. Yes, I did. What do you think's gonna happen? It's the same reason I already had my guns ready to fire at the people shooting at him. It's the same reason. It's because we all spawn in the same spots every time. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take Nostradamus to figure this out. It doesn't take somebody radaring the destroyer in the middle of the map for our destroyer to also immediately die to said destroyer. Now, good news is, said destroyer is sitting there being a little bit complacent. He's killing our destroyer, unfortunately, but as our destroyer unloads all of his torpedoes and completely whiffs, I take a shot over the top of the island, and guess who doesn't completely whiff? This guy. And I had Arthas still, so I slapped him real good. But this is exactly what I talk about when I say like, people do the same stuff every single game. Their patterns. And you can see I'm already talking to my dude Kane into Puerto Rico. Welcome to the game, Kane. He's a newer player, and me and him just had a good chat this entire game. We were just chatting back and forth because, like I said, I called exactly what was going to happen before it even happened. You already know. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It just takes experience. You see it happen so often. It's like, why do people still make that call? Why do people still go, yes, I'm in a cruiser. I'm going to go in front of this island. I'm going to go full broadside so that everybody can see me and I'll die. It makes no sense, man. I don't understand it. But you can see that one other thing that I don't understand about this game is why I always end up by myself on a flank. And I'm not the only one. This happens to everybody. It's always this way. And you'd be like, well, Spartan, you're just too over-aggressive. I'm in the motherfucking Vermont. How can I possibly be over-aggressive in a ship that moves half the speed of smell? Right? Like, it doesn't work. Now here, I thought I was going to get blapped here. Thankfully, this poison can't shoot. And that's going to be blatantly obvious for pretty much the entire time he's alive. But, like, again, like, here you can see I'm starting to think about kiting away. I'm spotted. I know the cruisers are there. I know that the poison's there. I know there's a Yama there as well. We have a Schroeder over there. We had the Puerto Rico spotted momentarily. Like, there's a lot of stuff here. And their destroyer's probably a little, fed up with me. But notice that I'm not spotted anymore. Once I got away from those cruisers, or the cruiser that was there, which was the Schroeder, I believe, once I got away from him, I wasn't spotted anymore. Now I am spotted momentarily. It could be the Preußen. Maybe the Preußen has a better detection range than I do. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities. I think they have a 13.7 or a 13.6, potentially. So they would have a little bit better detection range than me. But you can see that once I break contact and I'm no longer spotted, I don't kite anymore, right? I'm repositioning. I'm trying to get closer. I want to continue to push this flank. Unfortunately for me, the guy that spawns next to me, he doesn't feel the same way. In fact, he goes completely the opposite direction. He goes all the way across the map. Don't know why. And the sad part is, if he had done nothing except sit in the spot that he's in, as long as he has range to shoot the enemy, which this is a small map, you probably got range to shoot the enemy if I'm being honest. But like, if he just sits there, I'll have these guys lit up and he'll be in the perfect crossfire. Crossfire for days that you wouldn't believe. But people don't think about that. And this is the stuff that drives me crazy. And this is what drives most experienced players crazy about people that don't know what they're doing. And we don't say that people don't know what they're doing just to be mean. It's just the facts. Like, if you watch the way people play, they honestly have no clue. They don't understand positioning. They don't understand what the enemy is trying to get them to do. They don't understand why the plays that they make is getting them killed, or why they seem to get no damage most of the time. All of these little things add up, right? And you can see as I'm pushing the issue, I'm all alone. There's nobody here beside me, you know? I'm pretty sure that there's a donkey song out there about that. I'm all alone. There's nobody here beside me. But you gotta have friends. But anyway, I digress. Yama, bow tanking, sitting still for the most part. Might be slightly reversing, so we aim a little high. We want to hit that superstructure. He shoots at me, hits the gun turrets, don't really do any damage. We slap his superstructure pretty good, honestly. You really only get that maybe one or two times on a Yama before you completely saturate their superstructure and they become darn near invincible while bow tanking you. But you can see that I'm looking over at Puerto Rico and I'm thinking, okay, I might get a chance to shoot this guy, but then he goes full broadside in front of my team and darn near got depth struck. Somebody over there left that man in true Spartan fashion for somebody to take the kill. But fortunately, our team did get the kill. Now, you can notice that our team is doing a little bit of a black hole strategy over there, and this doesn't end well most of the time. And we got a cruiser who's gone out of his mind on the right flank. Given the amount of firepower that's over there and the lack of support, me and this cruiser kind of have something in common. Except I'm in a Vermont, I have a lot of firepower and a lot of armor. I don't know what cruiser that is, but I highly doubt that he's in the same situation I am. But as we start thinking about this corner, I know that the Preußen's here somewhere, right? So I got to be careful. I don't want to give myself up to be slapped too hard. We know that the Yama's there as well, and you can see Preußen is freaking begging for it. So we go ahead and hit that. We're going to go ahead and hit the Arthas button on this too. We are angled relatively well. He breaks a gun, but we absolutely clap that man. And we angle against the Yama as well. We take some damage here from the Yama, as you'd expect. We're getting shot by the Schroeder as well. But as you can see, like, I'm not really scared of any of these guys. None of these guys have shown that they have any idea what they're doing. And yet my team still ran away. They're still gone. He's still running. Some say that he's halfway to estuary by now. But Schroeder, you know, is an obnoxious cruiser to go up against. It don't matter what ship you're in. Those secondaries are a problem. So we go ahead and take a shot at the Schroeder. We hit him for 15,000 damage through the bow. It really wakes him up, clears his sinuses out, and you can see his secondaries doing what they do best, which is set fires and be a problem. That's all the Schroeder really is. It's not a problem to me any other way. It doesn't have torpedoes. The guns really don't hurt battleships all that much. They can mess up cruisers, but look, Preußen telegraphed this 5 minutes ago. We knew what he was doing. And he comes around the corner, over-angled, and we send him to the Shadow Realm, as we should. Now, I gotta give a shout-out where shout-out is due. Credit where credit is due. The Yamato that's over here, despite not really showcasing that he's all that good at the game, does at least have common sense. And that's more than most people have in this game. Because he doesn't overplay his Yamato. I was really counting on him overplaying his Yamato. Why do you think I'm kind of chilling here? I know that the Schroeder's going around me. I've got teammates coming back across the map, but you see the Yama right here waiting for me to come around the corner. I'm not stupid. Watch me bow tank the island right here. He overshoots, boom, does nothing. Why? Because he shoots through the island. So now he's going to come forward, right? I thought he was just going to charge forward like a Yamater here, right? And he, in his credit, doesn't quite do that. He almost does. I maybe pull the trigger just a hair early, but you can see he is actively trying to turn the bow into me. He understands what I'm doing. But even with Arthas, we only get the one Citadel, and that is just tragedy. So at this point, I'm thinking he's going to ram me. But I also know that Schroeder's coming in behind me, right? So I'm going to try to avoid the ram for the time being and get damage on the Schroeder. We've got the rear guns around the island, and I'll be honest, that was horrendous. Maybe I should have aimed it a little bit through down sights or whatever, but I honestly thought that I was going to send that Schroeder to the Shadow Realm coming around that corner flat broadside like that. And you can see, I could have had this guy ram me, but I was trying to delay his ram And he actually doesn't want to ram me because, again, he overmatches me. He has all the advantage in this situation. And then we get double fired again by the Schroeder, and I'm like, God darn it, there goes that plan. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll shoot the Schroeder one more time. We'll get this thing going forward. Maybe we can ram the Yamato, get both, a good chunk off of both of these guys, take the Yama out as well. You can see I've put up 207,000 damage, but unfortunately, the double fire is just too much. I'm too slow, and then we get hit with the Schroeder's main guns, and yeah, just too much fires, too slow in the Vermont. But 207,000 damage. I took on this flank solo, and I darn near kicked everybody's butt on this flank. And that just goes to show you, like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to play this game. It just takes a little bit of support. Like, if that guy in the battleship, and you can see my dude in Puerto Rico I've been talking to the entire game, has come across the map, and he's going to do pretty well at mopping up this flank, right? But it was him and the Preußen that ended up coming back specifically. And I don't know if the Preußen was the original battleship that was over here or what, but my team is actually coming over here now that all the guys are dead, which is always, better late than never, I guess. But it's always interesting to me because I don't ask people to be heroes, right? I never ask anybody to go out of their way to do something crazy. I just need you to be useful, right? I don't need you to be the greatest player on the planet. And as a matter of fact, I'd rather you not be the greatest player on the planet because, like I said the other day, I'm selfish. I make content, and people like to watch big damage games for content, right? And so, like, I like to get into big, heavy-hitting games like this. I love it. But I also would love to have a little bit of help. just a touch, a little sprinkle, if you would. But Puerto Rico gets a good shot here on the broadside. I say broadside, the slight bow of the Yamato. But, of course, Puerto Rico can't tank a Yamato at all. Like, it's very, very hard to tank anything from a Yamato and a Puerto Rico. You have to get him to bait. You have to bait him into shooting your belt at close range and pray to God that you can get angled enough. Because, like I said, this armor is very flat. So even if they don't overmatch it, there's a good chance that they can pen it. But as you can see, he's kind of bow tanking the Kurfürst here. Kurfürst is over angled, so he takes a shot at the Kurfürst. Now watch what happens next. This is no like disrespect to him in the moment, because I actually did call this out. But this is just the difference between an experienced player and a newer player. And he did play PC for a while, but in his own words, he didn't do very well at it. And I'm glad that he's here. I hope that he enjoys. But this shot right here, he perfectly lined this up to have his turrets in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, he just didn't see it in time. I tried to call it out for him, but by the time he realized he could potentially shoot his guns, it was too little too late. But in the end, it doesn't matter. But again, that's just one of those situations where an experienced player notices that sort of thing. And even by accident, like happy accidents happen all the time in World of Warships. You're not always purposely rotating those rear guns to the right where you want them at the right time. Sometimes they just happen to be there and you just like, oh, I got a shot here. You see me do it all the time in like streams and stuff when I'm bow tanking somebody and firing my front guns, and then I look across the map and I'm like, oh, my rear guns, I can shoot that guy. So I shoot my rear turret over there at somebody, 20 kilometers away or whatever. It's little moments like that is the difference, the key differences, and the same thing goes for that Hindenburg at the beginning of the match. The more experience you have, the more you realize that going in front of that island is almost certainly a death sentence. It's every game on this map. Every time you load into this map, watch that island, and you will guarantee see somebody dumb enough to go right in front of that island and be broadside at the beginning of the match, where they're just going to get yeeted. Now here, Puerto Rico initially says he wants to ram the Grosse Kurfürst, and I'm like, that's going to be a tall order if that Kurfürst decides to shoot you through the bow, because he could absolutely murder him. But Kurfürst, for whatever reason, I don't know if he had a gun knocked out, but he was only firing one gun at a time, and you can see that gun absolutely wrecked him through the bow. But fortunately, he's going to beat his reload, and they're going to do a little kissy-kissy action, and pop goes the Kurfürst, and that just leaves the Montana on the other side. And now we have a Montana versus Montana moment, and Hannah Montana over here doesn't have her guns pointed in the right direction. Now, again, I have no idea. Maybe he just got done shooting somebody in the middle of the map. That is a possibility. I know there was a couple ships around. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's just funny when you just happen to look over at the right time and you're like, what is this guy doing? But as he rotates his guns around, he's going to have a full broadside ready to go. But unfortunately, there's only a minute left, and I don't know. It just neither of these guys are really scoring any meaningful damage on each other. It's kind of funny, to be honest, as somebody who loves the Montana. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting match. I thought you guys would enjoy, get a kick out of me being a future, you know, a little sightseer, not sightseer. What's the other, you know, just a seer, isn't it? I think they just call him a seer, a soothsayer. How many names for fortune teller can you come up with? Everybody, leave your name for a fortune teller down in the comments below. I know there's going to be at least one smart aleck that goes, "How about con artists?" You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But 207,000 damage game, me literally taking on an entire flank, brawling in the Vermont, showcasing that you can absolutely carry a flank. You just got to know what you're doing. But please don't be like that. And the sad part is the Yamato on our team gets worse than him because he just quit the game. Maybe he disconnected. But yeah, Hindenburg didn't get bottom somehow. He just spawned in, go full broadside, die immediately, and somehow didn't get bottom. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.